Over 50, daily squats will change more than just your legs. It surprises many people to learn that one of the simplest, oldest movements in the world, something humans have done naturally for thousands of years, might influence far more aspects of life after 50 than anyone expects. Daily squats, in their most basic form, are not just a leg exercise. They are a return to a movement pattern humans once relied on for cooking, gathering, resting, and surviving. And somewhere along the way, modern life made that movement optional, even though the body still quietly remembers it. Today's exploration dives into how this single motion affects far more than the thighs or hips, especially in the second half of life. Not through dramatic claims, but through the subtle, steady ripple effects that everyday movement has on balance, energy, and the way the body feels during ordinary routines. This is not a fitness lecture. It is a rediscovery of something your body has known since childhood. A renewed sense of stability in daily life. One of the first things people over 50 often notice when they get into the habit of daily squats is an unexpected improvement in how grounded they feel during everyday tasks, like getting out of a chair, climbing steps, or bending down to pick something up. It is not about strength alone. It is the way repeated, mindful motion reminds muscles, joints, and the nervous system how to work together again. The movement has a rhythm that gradually sharpens coordination without even trying, almost like a song the body relearns after years of silence. People often describe feeling more connected to their center of gravity, as if they are reclaiming a physical confidence they thought belonged only to younger years. It is these small, subtle shifts that ripple into bigger ones over time. A boost in overall daily energy. What surprises many is that daily squats can influence energy in ways that have little to do with raw physical effort and everything to do with circulation, momentum, and the way the body wakes up when larger muscle groups engage regularly. The movement nudges the body out of sluggishness, creating a gentle, natural rise in alertness that carries into the rest of the day. It is similar to how a brisk morning walk or a quick stretch changes the way the day feels. Subtle, but undeniable. People often find themselves more willing to move, more responsive to physical tasks, and more energized during routine activities. It is as if that small daily habit flips a switch that encourages the rest of the body to join in. Better posture, without trying to fix posture. What makes daily squats interesting is how they indirectly influence posture, not by forcing someone to stand straighter, but by encouraging muscles around the core, hips, and back to share the workload more evenly. Over time, people notice that standing tall requires less effort, as if the body naturally drifts toward alignment simply because the foundational muscles are more awake. This change often shows up in everyday moments, waiting in line, walking through the house, or sitting down at a table, where the spine suddenly feels less strained and more supported. It is not a conscious adjustment. It is a side effect of better balance throughout the chain of movement. That is the beauty of functional patterns. They improve things you were not even trying to improve. A sense of confidence that comes from movement ownership. Something subtle but powerful tends to happen when a person over 50 adopts a daily movement ritual like squats. They begin to feel more capable, more steady, and more in command of their physical presence. It is not about fitness levels or personal records. It is about reclaiming control over motions that once felt stiff or uncertain. The act of performing the same movement each day builds a quiet trust between the mind and the body, creating a sense of assurance that spills into everything from carrying groceries to bending for gardening tools. People often describe this as feeling more like myself again, because that consistency reconnects them to a physical identity they thought had faded with time. A ripple effect into other habits and routines. One of the most surprising things about daily squats is how they tend to spark a cascade of small, positive patterns without anyone planning it. A person might start moving a bit more throughout the day, stretching a little more often, or choosing to walk instead of sitting because their body simply feels more willing. This shift is not the result of discipline or motivation. It is the natural response of a body that has been awakened by repeated functional motion. The simplicity of the squat, no equipment, no setup, no schedule, makes it easier to stay consistent, and consistency often becomes the spark that lights up other beneficial routines. It is not the squat itself that creates transformation. It is the momentum it builds. A noticeable ease in everyday transitions. One of the quiet transformations people experience from daily squats is how much easier shifting between everyday positions becomes, like going from standing to sitting, turning around quickly, or getting into and out of a car without that momentary stiffness. It is not about athletic ability. It is about reintroducing the body to a movement it once relied on constantly, allowing transitions to feel more fluid and less mechanical. People often mention that those little hesitations, those tiny pauses before moving, start to fade as the body becomes more familiar with bending and rising in a controlled way. The beauty of this shift is how naturally it unfolds, almost unnoticed until one day the movement feels smoother than it has in years. It is these everyday moments where the payoff really appears. A deepened awareness of how the body moves. Another surprising effect of daily squats is a renewed awareness of the body's mechanics, as if the mind begins to pay closer attention to muscles, weight shifts, and balance without needing to force that focus. With repetition, people start noticing where they hold tension, how their feet plant, and how their hips guide motion during ordinary tasks like reaching, lifting, or bending. This kind of awareness is not dramatic or loud. It is subtle, like turning up the brightness on a familiar picture and suddenly seeing details that were always there. Many describe feeling more in tune with themselves, simply because the movement encourages a quiet check-in with the body each day. Over time, this awareness becomes a gentle companion that supports everything else they do. A renewed appreciation for slow, intentional movement. What daily squats often bring, especially for those over 50, is an unexpected appreciation for slow, controlled movement, something that modern life rarely encourages. Instead of rushing through tasks or pushing the body in quick bursts, the daily ritual invites a sort of mindful pacing that feels grounding and almost meditative. People realize that moving slowly is not a sign of aging but a sign of awareness, allowing them to feel each part of the motion with clarity. This slower rhythm tends to spill into the rest of the day, creating a calm, measured approach to physical activity that feels both steady and sustainable. In a world where speed is often celebrated, there is something incredibly refreshing about rediscovering the power of deliberate motion. If this exploration opened your eyes to how one simple movement can shape far more than just the legs, take a moment to reflect on how daily habits influence the way you walk, sit, stand, or move through your day. Share in the comments what daily motion or ritual has made a noticeable difference in your life, and make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss future deep dives into the simple, timeless practices that help the body feel more awake, more grounded, and more alive. More explorations are coming, each uncovering another piece of wisdom hiding in plain sight.